Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Curiosity Rocks, and in this video I'm going to show you a close look at this book and talk about my own experiences because both have been requested. A close look at this book and a bit about what I think. Now I don't have, as always with my videos, I don't have a plan. I haven't formulated a plan for this video, so I may ramble on for a while. So, this is the book. It's Aspergirls by Rudy Simone, and I think it's an excellent book and really useful and a must buy if you are a girl with Asperger's or you know a girl with Asperger's. When I say girl, I mean female, because it's for all ages and it's an excellent book. So I'll read the back out to you. Girls with Asperger syndrome are less frequently diagnosed than boys, and even once symptoms have been recognised, advice is often not readily available. This is a must-have handbook written by an Aspergirl for Aspergirls young and old. Rudy Simone provides valuable advice on every aspect of both personal and professional life, from early recollections of blame, guilt and span skills to friendships, romance and marriage. Employment, career, rituals and routines are also covered, along with depression, meltdowns and being misunderstood. Recurring struggles in areas where Aspergirls often need validation, information and advice are identified, and the reflections of over 35 women diagnosed as on the spectrum, as well as some from their partners and parents, are included. As they recount their stories, anecdotes and wisdom, she highlights how differences between males and females on the spectrum are mostly a matter of perception, rejecting negative views of Aspergirls and empowering them to lead happy and fulfilled lives. If you are a female with AS, or even if you think you might be on the spectrum, this book will be essential reading. It will also be a great help to your partners and loved ones and anybody else interested, either professionally or academically, in Asperger syndrome. And so this is the book, and it says, Rudy Simone is an Aspergirl writer and AS consultant who lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. She is the author of 22 Things a Woman Must Know If She Loves a Man with Asperger Syndrome, also published by Jessica Kingsley Publishers. So that's the book. Now I've marked a few pages and I'm going to go through the book and pick out the bits that I particularly relate to and I think particularly reflect how I feel. So, the contents page, these are the contents. So we have forward, introduction, and Chapter 1, Imagination, Self-taught reading and savant skills and unusual interests. Chapter 2, Why smart girls sometimes hate school. Chapter 3, Sensory overload. Chapter 4, Stimming and what we do when we're happy. Chapter 5, On blame and internalising guilt. Chapter 6, Gender roles and identity. Chapter 7, Puberty and mutism. Chapter 8, Attraction, dating, sex and relationships. Chapter 9, Friendships and socialising. Chapter 10, Higher learning. Chapter 11, Employment and career. Chapter 12, Marriage and cohabitation. Chapter 13, Having children. Chapter 14, Ritual and routine, logical and literal thinking, bluntness, empathy and being misunderstood. Chapter 15, Diagnosis, misdiagnosis and medication. Chapter 16, Depression meltdowns, PTSD and more about meds. Chapter 17, Temper meltdowns. Chapter 18, Burning bridges. Chapter 19, Stomach issues and autism. Chapter 20, Getting older on the spectrum. Chapter 21, on whether Asperger syndrome is a disability or a gift, and advice from Aspergirls to Aspergirls. Additional tools for parents. Chapter 22, Give your Aspergirl some balls. Belief, acceptance, love, like and support. Chapter 23, Thoughts and advice from parents of Aspergirls. And then the appendix is a list of female Asperger syndrome traits and summary of some main female male differences, and then you've got references and resources. The additional tools for parents bit I think is excellent for partners to read as well, romantic partners and also friends, because it's some excellent advice in that section. So that's So the introduction is, I should read some of the book out to you, but obviously not, because I want to read the whole book because it's an excellent book, but you've obviously got to buy it for yourself. Women on the spectrum are a subculture within a subculture. We have many of the same quirks, challenges, habits, traits and outlooks as men, but with our own twist. It is not so much that Asperger syndrome AS presents differently in girls and women, but that it is perceived differently and therefore is often not recognised. There's a section here. There are stages we have to get through once we, as adults of any age, find out we have Asperger's. Awareness. We find out about Asperger's and the information speaks to us but hasn't hit home yet. We might experience some resistance or denial. Knowing. The irreversible understanding that you have Asperger's, the realisation clicks. Validation. Asperger's explains so much in a life that often seems to have had no rhyme nor reason. This is not one moment, but a series of moments that will continue for years, if not forever. Relief. I'm sorry I'm weird, I'm not very good at being a sensible presenter about Asperger's. I'm just a bit kooky, I guess. But I'll just carry on now. Relief. I can finally, as the song says, lay my burden down. We don't know what our burden is until we're diagnosed, but we can tell other people don't seem to be carrying it. Worry. What does this mean for my future and for my potential? Anger. For all the blame and misdiagnosis that may have been laid upon us by ourselves or others. Hopefully we then get the next phase of our lives, acceptance, thriving. We become keenly aware of our gifts and deficits and use what we have wisely. So this book is written to help all Aspergirls to become empowered, and I think it is excellently written. So this section is about how Aspergirls can a lot of Aspergirls are self-taught. This is hard to do this. I need to do these videos in sections, so if anybody wants me to do specific videos, and when I ask you to ask me about what you want to know, you have to be really specific, because otherwise I don't know what to do a video about and I end up doing about a 3-hour video or something, because you haven't actually asked me exactly what you want to know. So ask me exact questions, because otherwise I don't know what to say. And I just go on and on about random stuff. Speaking of random stuff, I like The Random Rabbit by Edward Monkton. It's awesome. Anyway, this early ability to read and comprehend above our years, hyperlexia, gives some young Aspergirls an air of intellectual maturity that tricks people into thinking we possess emotional maturity as well. I think that I definitely relate to that. There's not comprehending things the way other people do is fine in academia, because we can usually find our own methods, but in social situations this same tendency plays out differently. We can't always impose our own rules and priorities on others. We can't research people in everyday conversations the way we research information from books. When we are in the zoo, we do have a hard time taking breaks, going to the toilet, eating, drinking, grooming, getting fresh air or exercise, yes. Each chapter has advice to the Asperger herself, and then advice to the parents, and I think these can excellent advice not just for parents but for everybody who loves a girl with Asperger's. Then we got why smart girls sometimes hate school. And about a lot of Aspergirls were bullied at school, yes. I was bullied a lot. I didn't know what, I didn't really know what to do. Okay, I'm gonna skip about the book a bit, I think. This is a section which I think is really useful. And it's advice from Aspergirls to Aspergirls. I asked the Aspergirls what advice they'd give to others. This list is the result. Get a diagnosis. Be proud to be different. Study and work in your field of interests, and AS will not stand in your way. Cultivate your talents and try to turn them into a marketable skill. Be yourself. That way you'll be found and liked by all the other people like you. You can be happy with Asperger's or miserable of Asperger's. I've tried both. I prefer happy. Autism gives us perseverance, not just to become enthralled with special interests, but to succeed in life. If you are having a crummy day, check out a chat room. You might feel alone, but you are far from it. You have Asperger's. Asperger's doesn't have you. Choose men very carefully. Find a companion who is truly unconditional. Revel in solitude. Don't worry about what others think. It's just between you and your best self. Success is closing that gap. Listen to other people's observations. If they tell you they have doubts about a person or situation, they're probably right. It's a bad idea to trust intuition you don't have, and it can get you seriously hurt. Find ASD women mentors. Don't worry too much. There's usually no need. Be as tolerant and understanding of others as you can. Learn assertiveness techniques. Simplify life. Life is not about being someone else's perfect anything. Don't be worried about social stigma. Fight false media messages that autism means being less of a person. Get fit, exercise regularly, and eat carefully. If you feel too uncomfortable conforming to a role, change your role. Read a lot, not just about Asperger's. Don't care so much about what people in school think of you. You'll never see them again in your life after you graduate. And then Rudy's advice says, my advice is be vulnerable and courageous. Just as eye contact contains too much information, life contact seems to as well. AS disables us when our extreme sensitivity becomes inverted, ingrown, and morphs into a shell of protectiveness and exclusion. A burgeoning cultural awareness is happening with the arrival of films, books, and news stories about Asperger's. Tell your own story. I really like that bit. Spend proper videos when I'm not like jumping about, screen about who, because that's easy. Just that's me. I get so confused in my head trying to do proper presenty videos. So I feel like I've got to be serious, and except I haven't got to be serious because I've just got to be me. But I feel like I've got to be able to sit down, like, because I watch lots of other people and they're all sat on a chair being really like clever and just everything, and I just find that really difficult. Just be organised and just come across like not a complete random weirdo. This where it says about finding a partner is a bit which I quite like. Disclosure is always a choice and a crossroad. With it, we risk losing someone before they have a chance to know us, but without it we give them no frame of reference for understanding. We may cause new partners confusion and worry, hurt feelings, and a damaged or aborted relationship. For this reason, many women tell me that they would only date someone on the spectrum, or at least someone who is very tolerant and a bit eccentric. There are distinct advantages to having a spectrum partner, but one good thing about a non-spectrum partner is that it can do many of the things that perhaps you cannot. Remember long strings of verbal instructions, make small talk at social events, while you just smile and look enigmatic. It could be nice to know that someone's picking up the slack. Of course, he will run to you whenever it's time to figure out some new software. Not with me, I don't think. So it will most definitely be a symbiotic relationship, but it needs to be someone who has a good sense of humour, is intelligent and very understanding of all the issues we contend with. And then we've got a lovely section about being proud to be a geek. Be yourself and be proud of all the things you're good at. Celebrate geek power. You might not even be a geek when you see that smarts are sexy. Maybe you're not awkward, just lacking in confidence. Anyone can get a stylist, not everyone can get an intellect. Your uniqueness will eventually translate into a personal style that is the real you. And there's also a section about mutism, that selective mutism, when I freeze, it's like a feeling of being frozen. I just really, when I go to meet my online friends stuff, I really want to join in, but I just feel frozen until somebody comes and actually speaks to me. So, girls are supposed to play hard to get, but Aspergirls don't play games. That's true. We may think things like, I want to go out with him, therefore I should ask him out, and set ourselves up for ridicule and rejection. I'm not backwards in coming forwards at all. I totally relate to that. I can tend to be a bit snuggly, because I think, yeah, I've sort of chased boys a bit, and then I just ask them out, and then just, when I actually found when I lured someone to hang out with me, I tend to be a bit snuggly, because I like snuggles. I like really tight snuggles from romantic partners, and also when I meet my online girly friends, I like cuddles. So then we've also got chapters and a lot of information about meltdowns, and also information about stimming. My stimming is this: when I'm really excited, but I tend to bounce about a lot. And then there's that when I'm thinking, processing stuff I could do. So that all the time, and I'm always rocking about a bit. My boyfriend says I'm like a weeble. Weebles wobble but they don't fall down. That's a British toy. It's like got a bottom like that, it's weighted, and you push it and it wobbles and it doesn't fall down. Yay! Except I do walk into things a lot, like doorways and that. This isn't really, I'm getting a bit off topic there, aren't I? Well, not really, because I'm meant to be talking about the book, which is excellent. And to be honest, you really need to read the whole book and buy it yourselves, because there's just so much I could quote in this book, but I get confused. So if you'd like me to do more specific videos, then it would be really helpful if you could just give me a topic to talk about, and then I could do a specific video for you. So it talks about meltdowns, and my meltdown is I have a core of passion inside me, and my usual, so it's either happy and perky, in which case I become just incredibly like Tigger and bouncy. When I'm feeling good, I could be like Tigger and bouncy and excited and flapping my hands and everything, and just get excited and squealing a lot. But when it's bad, it's like, because it's like attacking myself, and and some of it's like hitting myself and shouting and just hating myself. That's when it's really bad for meltdowns. and then sometimes it's like an uncontrollable thing inside, yeah, and then a lot of the time I have a constant stuff in my head. Some days it like just suddenly goes quiet on me, and it's quiet in my head, and it's a bit scary then. But I have constant thoughts, processes in my head, and then that's why I forget a lot of stuff, because like just like I'm going to do chores and stuff, I go to do something, because I constantly narrated to myself in my head about all different things about what I'm going to do and stuff. I forget what I actually went to do, because I've got a constant story going on and narration in my head. And what I thought of something, because it's always some like niggling anxiety, so you can hope I like it if my boyfriend would like to squeeze me tight, even though my world's still spinning a million miles an hour. Being squeezed tight and snuggle up to him makes me feel a bit safer in the world, because everything's spinning and swirling at a billion miles an hour, and it's like everything's coming at me, and inside me I've got stories like paranoia, just feeding little silly thoughts a lot, and then it turns my hurricane to anger, and then I have to be so strong and determined not to attack myself, because it's like such a reflex to get angry. So when I'm angry, my safe way is to clap a lot, so I often clap loads, but my real anger one is hitting my head. My head's quite sore at the moment, because I had a meltdown at the weekend. That's why I didn't really do Doctor Who very well, but I like it now. And I have to really be strong not to do that, because it's a reflex. So that's why I find really difficult. Then I suppose with this book it says there's temper meltdowns and depression meltdowns, and I also get depression meltdowns where I don't want to do stuff. I get meltdowns during a lot of my videos, especially on my Curiosity Box channel, because with Doctor Who videos it's just yay, squeak, Dalek. But with these, it's like you have to have a plan, but I don't want to plan them, because it's regulated and formulated, and it's not me. I feel if I had regulated my videos, I think I'd feel a fraud. So I tend to just go on a complete ramble, and as you can tell, I'm not looking at the camera much, because my words seem to come out easier when I'm not looking at the camera. My thoughts actually translate from my processing round in my brain to actually coming out my mouth properly when I'm not looking at the camera on this particular channel. When I do these kinds of videos, it's a lot easier to actually get the words out. But yeah, I do talk to loads of friends online that I talk to, so. But even when I'm online, I'm honest a lot of the time. I don't change my pace, because I know a lot of people, I'm just picking up on like bits in the book. A lot of people online, they put some sort of persona on, and when you know them in real life, it's like that can be hard to get to grips with emotionally. It's when people put a persona on online and you know them in real life, and it's like they're a different person, and you don't like the person who's online, but you love the person who you know offline. And it's like, it can be really confusing at times and a bit distressing. But with me, I'm obviously more confident, because I can actually get the words out and actually describe what I'm thinking, but I'm usually just as honest, and I'm usually perhaps getting it wrong and making a fuss. because I get all emotional. I don't really know how to interpret the words, and then I put motivations into various people, and that they read that must mean they think that, and then I end up going back into myself and going, why are you so ugly, why are you so horrible, and then it turns into attacking myself. So, but when I get when somebody says something nice and they compliment me, I'll just sit in front of the screen and just do that for about 5 minutes. Then I'll go do something else, and then I'll just go back and have another look out the room, and just I do that for about 5 minutes when somebody writes something nice about me. Yeah. Also, this says handling criticism. I'm not very good at handling criticism. It says, according to this book, the advice is that we don't handle criticism very well, and it's best to accentuate the good things we do, otherwise we just meltdown, so just kill and fall, and because we can't handle criticism. And yeah, that's totally true, because of criticism I just think it turns me into a ragey person, but a lot of it is against myself and hating myself. So when I feel like people are appreciating the stuff I say, and I just really excited, and I try, but it's about fitting in. Well, it's not fitting in because I don't want to fit in, but when I feel like I've been accepted and they accept me and they like me, and they like me when I'm being cookie. Ooh, cookies. Cookies are awesome. Yeah. Here's the bit about criticising. It's really important that a person with Asperger's is not criticised. That only makes us curl up into a ball. We need positive reinforcement for the good things we do, and then we will strive to do more of that. It takes a very special partner to understand this. Meltdowns and depressions can take on mammoth proportions for an Aspergirl, and it takes a special man not to run away in the face of our emotional storms. He has to read, for if he doesn't read about AS, he'll never get you. He has to be willing to compromise on those levels and everything from the fabrics of your furniture to where you live. He is going to have to be understanding and forgiving, for meltdowns, according to my research, happen to 97% of us at least now and then, and for some they are quite frequent. There are myriad issues that will be affected by your AS, and he is going to have to be able to live with that. So, that's also about compromising as well. Then there's a bit about, fortunately, all it really takes is one person to get us, another Aspie perhaps, or at least someone eccentric, someone who knows we're quirky and likes us because of it, not in spite of it, and someone whom we can trust not to hold our traits against us. So I like that. It also says that can be kind of idealistic about romance. And there's also a good bit about that people have a window, and you have to give people room to live up to your expectations. You can't expect things straight away, and you have to give them a chance to reach your expectation. So yeah, I think it's probably better if you ask me to do more specific videos and ask me a specific list of questions to answer as well. like really specific, because otherwise I'd tend to find these videos kind of really difficult. So if you'd like to if you'd like to give me a list of questions in the comments section, I can read through them and sort of plan, because I don't really like to plan my videos, I just like being me. So I could sort of work through about all the videos about what you're meant to do. So a list of extremely specific questions in the comments section, please. So I do think this is an excellent book, and it's a must purchase if you want to know anything about females with Asperger syndrome, or you think you have Asperger syndrome. If you want to know anything about it at all, I think this is an essential book and a must purchase, and I think it's really excellent. So I hope you have enjoyed this very random and sort of rambly video, and yeah, thank you for watching.